Have you used
Yeah.
tasks at all?
No, I don't think so.
So you can set up like a daily task if you wanted to look through.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you set a daily task to look for new podcast episodes, and it then prompts you to tell you that your report's ready, and it puts it into your side channel of your searches.
Interesting. All right, let's get started. We're here at the Paso Robles podcast, and today I'm joined by Ericka. Ericka, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. What do you do, and a little backstory, and then that's as professional as I get as far as questioning. So
Okay.
we'll go from there.
Sure. My name's Ericka Scott, and I have a business called Ericka Co. I created a framework for strategic planning that I call Strategic Plan Now. And it really is a way of doing business for small businesses to really grow and be able to implement systems. So if maybe there's been a transition or there's been lacking systems, I go in and I can help with putting things into place that can help businesses focus on the right things. I also work with nonprofits.
Okay. So can you give us an example of what that might look like Is it like, let's say there's a transaction of a business and the new owners don't know how to handle the transition? Is that when you probably are best suited to come in and help arrange it however they kind of benefit from?
Yeah, I mean, ideally I would be in there before the transition
Okay.
to make sure systems are in place. But in the event that there has been a transition and there aren't systems that are benefiting the organization or the people within it, I come in and I can help. I have a system that I call Strategize, Optimize, Thrive. So strategize, we start really doing some assessments and figuring out kind of what's the current state, what's the culture, different things, what systems are in place. And then from there, the optimized part is like, let's start creating some action plans, putting things, implementing. And then that thrive part is really accountability, making sure it's a system that's going to work for the organization. So meeting them wherever they're at in the process and taking what they have and then approving upon it and making sure that the whole team is aware and everybody's like rowing in the same direction.
Yeah, because one of the big things is communication between the employer, employee, and whoever's in management.
Absolutely.
So you help come in and strengthen that communication.
Yeah, I give frameworks for the communication and cadence, like what kind of meetings you should be having, giving templates for what those would look like so that they're efficient meetings, so that there isn't time wasted on just people complaining.
Yeah.
And it also, for certain leaders, it gives them a way to interact with their managers and managers to not be pitted against each other. So if everybody knows what the plan is, and when we change direction, then it's very clear so that there aren't like competing priorities.
So you mentioned one of the things is you go and help them set meetings. What are the ranges of time frames for those meetings? Because I think you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk. Are you familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk?
Oh yeah, Gary V.
Yeah, Gary
like
V.
I just call him Gary V.
I went on his full name, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says like not everybody needs 1 hour meetings.
Right. No, I agree with that. And I think when you have systems in place that are efficient and everybody knows what's expected of them, so whether that's a reporting structure, a time frame, is it a standing meeting, how often, and then they know when to expect to be able to have communication again, that they don't have to like run and knock on your door every 5 minutes to ask you something or hit you up on Slack. It's like they can wait until and they're able to start learning like how to prioritize things and how to deal with things outside of meetings, so that when you're coming into the meeting, you're really reporting out on progress and removing any roadblocks and being able to accomplish more.
Yeah. So do you ever see Mad Men?
A few episodes, yeah.
They had a lot of meetings, but they were always like random and like, hey, I need to see you in the office or conference room. And even like the office itself, those meetings were like random. Do you suggest random meetings like whenever it's needed, or like how do you help them maneuver or kind of like manage that?
Through the assessment to figure out who are the players, the stakeholders, what is the business process that requires certain meetings. I mean, even from down to the evaluations at the employee level. There are, there's frameworks. Donald Miller has one that's 5 essential meetings that you should be having. Should be having annual planning meeting, quarterly check-ins, monthly manager meetings. You should be having check-ins with employees, doing evaluations on an annual basis. It's their first year. Maybe that's more frequent.
Yeah.
And then letting managers have some autonomy too on which of those meeting cadences work within their teams, because different teams might have different needs.
This episode is sponsored by Lion Pro Flooring. Give new life to your floors with beautiful, professionally installed flooring. Whether it's hardwood, luxury vinyl, or carpet, your home deserves quality you can feel and craftsmanship you can trust. Serving Paso Robles in all of SLO County, Lion Pro Flooring is your local expert in transforming spaces. Call or text 805-712-3710 for a free estimate today. That's 805-712-3710. Lion Pro Flooring, when quality matters. Is this something you've always been interested in doing? What got you into this job or into this career?
Yeah, it's been an evolution of being in different industries. So I worked in the produce industry, in marketing and inside sales, customer support, and kind of serving as a hub when I was in the marketing area where I was working with the manufacturing plant. I was working with sales and being able to really project manage things. Then I went and worked in another environment where, again, having to pull resources from a lot of different people in a diffuse situation where there's a lot of stakeholders. And so I just got good at observing. There are a lot of consultants going through these organizations, picking up things here and there. And then I got a master's degree. And in my master's program, I really learned some analytical skills and did some program evaluation classes. So that really just sparked my interest in continuous learning, continuous improvement. And I just started absorbing a lot of books, content and audiobooks. And I just take a little bit from here and there, and it all came together. So
yeah, I was going to ask, is there a specific person or program that you kind of I want to do that, and then it grew from that?
Yes. So part of that, my master's program, I came across Jim Collins. So Good to Great, Why the Mighty Fall, a lot of books about just business, small business, how to operate. And he is actually a Stanford professor. He did all this research, thousands and thousands of businesses. And it resonates that you need a strategic plan. You need to focus on people. There's all these key things that I put into strategic plan now. And it's not that it's nobody has done this before. Right. I've just pulled together the pieces that I've seen work really well.
Yeah.
And in all the industries that I've tried it in so far, I have not found an industry that it doesn't work for.
Right.
So I found people it doesn't work for. People who are resistant to change, aren't willing to accept delegating, micromanagers, people like that, it will not work for.
Yeah, those people usually phase out when those are implemented, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm a big believer in drawing on the expertise of the people. But one of the Jim Collins's concepts is the right people in the right seats on the right on the bus. So evaluating, making sure that you have real clarity on what you need in roles, and not necessarily fitting people to roles.
This episode is sponsored by Del Pueblo Furniture in Paso Robles. Skip the credit card headache. Talk to Roger and get 0% in-house financing on quality furniture you'll love. Visit them at 1030 Railroad and 10th Street or call 805-239-5942. That's Del Pueblo Furniture. Comfort you want, payments you can handle. Y sí, se habla español. Just ask for Roger. So when you're talking about roles, how big is the company that you usually work with? Averaging, what size of employees are you looking at here?
It can be anywhere from a solopreneur that's looking to do a startup. I've done some coaching there, all the way up to probably around 100 is a good fit for what I do, because I do like to use assessment tools that really get to understand the culture of the organization, so that we can start to implement things and not throw everything out. It's let's see what's working. There's some good people here doing great work. Let's just help them do it better.
Yeah. Do you find the the need growing or lessening? Because obviously something that you do, once you show them how to do it and they're doing it, you're almost like not going to be needed as much. So how do you find out where you're needed and how you're reaching people like that?
Yeah, it can be challenging to meet the right
Yeah.
people and then to realize that they are willing and ready to make the investment in the ROI that they'll get from it. It is a challenge. So by getting out there and speaking and sharing with people, what can happen, the transformation that they can get, that they're going to have, more high functioning teams, that they're going to have alignment. It's going to cost them less money and resources. The resources are going to be allocated to the areas that are focused on ROI. So once you can convince that or share that, value proposition, then the people who get it, and other people, need to hear or see how it's worked for other people.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I've always heard from business owners, like they don't have budget sometimes. So how do you even start that conversation with when you know that they have zero budget or they haven't even thought about putting a budget to it?
That can be challenging. I mean, I've tried to scale products and services so that people can do self-service or DIY sort of things. So group coaching. I have a wait list for a implementers accelerator group. And that's really where in business I look at, you have the visionary. It's usually like the CEO, the owner, the person who started the business. They don't necessarily have time or the interest in the day-to-day operations. Yeah. And that's where you have the visionary and then you have the implementer. And I'm an implementer. And so I help teach other people how to be implementers. So ideally, I'm putting myself out of business when I work with clients, and that I'm showing them a system. I'm helping them to get it working well. And then I'm stepping back and I've taught somebody within the organization and the managers and the CEO C-suite how to run it. And then I'm just there to help support along the way. Yeah. And then I do maintenance where, maybe it's quarterly calibrations, it's annual retreat planning so that you're getting your goals set for the year. Yeah. So there is a way to keep that accountability. And often it's like a coach like me, somebody that can come in, a consultant, we can come in and we provide that outside lens for facilitating conversations that internally are hard to have because, there's different personalities. Everybody has their own, priorities that they're trying to go for, or their own initiatives or things. And so an outsider coming in can be kind of that, differentiator.
Yeah, like who's this person coming into our industry kind of thing,
Right. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Rad Scooter Deli on 6th Street. Craving something delicious in Paso Robles? Rad Scooter Deli on 6th Street has you covered. Enjoy tasty sandwiches, fresh salads, and smoothies like the Banana Nut Blast, my personal favorite. Kick back on the covered patio, sip on a cold beer and wine, and enjoy the easy parking. Order online for pickup or dine-in. And here's a treat. Use promo code PODCAST for $5 off your next order. That's podcast for $5 off your next order. Open daily from 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Rad Scooter Deli. Local flavor, fast and fresh. So one of the things you said is you're putting yourself out of business. That's actually one thing like Gary Vee said is you got to put yourself out of business because either somebody else is going to do it. So how do you feel like you're innovating if you have to? Like what do you add or what do you remove? How compared to when you started to where you're at now, what has changed?
As I see more areas that need a system that can benefit from it. So as I have a one-off, if I do a special project, I'm always thinking about how can I create this into a template or a system or build it out off of what a branch of that core piece. Okay. So that it's it can help with implementing an annual evaluation process. It can have these different tools that we keep adding to the toolkit. But strategic planning, I feel like, is something that people are afraid of. It's a dirty word. It's a combination of a trainer and a therapist for the business world. Yeah. So you have to be ready to commit to it and be willing to put in the work. But yeah.
Yeah. So when you're saying like, as you go throughout your career, you're kind of like noticing and adjusting as needed as well. How are you documenting that? Like on paper? Like do you write it down? Do you have like a notepad, like a voice is like, okay, more people are doing this rather than this, or do you just look back at the work you've been doing?
I've just built, it's
Yeah.
iterative. I feel like my work is all iterative. I don't
Okay.
like I do keep notebooks,
Right.
but
Right.
now, especially with ChatGPT, I have a subscription
Yeah.
and I have different GPTs, custom GPTs that I use. And so you can look back at things and you like, there's the iteration.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's something that I've then created a document from a manual, a process, and then go back and keep iterating it.
Yeah.
So I'll see versions of it. But I don't just keep like hey,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
because to me, it's important for me like to like let people know like look where you started and where you're at today are huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, be proud of yourself. But a lot of people forget to document those benchmarks that they had. So that's why I'm always like, okay, so what happened here? What happened here? What happened here? Because I'm actually curious, like, how did you pivot from here to there? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with clients, a lot what I'll do is the systems that I put in place for the meetings. So for example, there's a really simple meeting framework that's plans, progress, problems. Like the Googles and Amazons of the world use this.
Yeah.
And it's because it's simple, but it works. And so managers come, they report what plans did you have? What progress did you made? What problems did you encounter? How can we work together to remove roadblocks? Do we need to adjust?
Yeah.
And so implementing things like that, it's like you just keep adding things to your toolkit to know what is going to be the right fit for different businesses based
Right.
on the assessments.
Yeah. So one of the cool things you just talked about is ChatGPT. So I've been using it a lot for podcasting, how to do estimates and quotes, and I've been using it for like how to send a simple text or an email, you know. And I'll usually prompt is like, hey, I'm trying to do this. Can you make sure it's nice and professional, but also make it sound like me? Because I'm constantly like every day I'm at least spending at least 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
And so for you, you're using it as an extra tool,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. So do you use a subscription?
I pay for the subscription.
Okay,
Yes.
good. That's
Yeah.
a relief.
I'm not
Everybody,
letting-
if you're using ChatGPT for
pay
your
the 20
business, just
bucks.
pay the $20.
Yeah.
It's worth it. If your information is more secure. It's not totally secure, but it
Yeah.
is definitely way better
Then Google.
than yes. So I actually have created custom GPTs that I've been training. So as you know, like you can create your own GPTs based on different projects or things. So usually what I do, I've been creating this strategic plan now. I have a whole GPT for it. I've loaded in my templates and things. And so when I start working with a client, I have different assessments
Yeah.
that I then run through that. And it helps get me really close on some of their key initiatives and things. Then I create their own that with this, once they have the strategic plan in place. So they have clarity on their mission, vision, core values, strategic objectives. Then we can load that into a GPT for them. Any other documents they have, maybe they have an employee manual, maybe they have some policies and procedures. And it's training that GPT to be an extension of brain for
Yeah.
them to, and it's informing them to look in the right places.
Yeah.
So that can save, tens of thousands of dollars for a business owner. But I really need them to understand that how ChatGPT can be used to save time over like money over time, because the piece of the strategic planning is the differentiator that's going to get them the results faster
Yeah.
and get them better outputs that are going to be able to like hack it faster.
Right.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Santos Bros Plumbing. Are you in need of a dependable and effective plumber you can trust? Look no further than Santos Bros Plumbing, your trusted local plumbers in Paso Robles, California. Call them now at 805-360-4679. That's Santos Bros Plumbing. Yeah, so every once in a while, I'll go on like somebody's website and you see that bubble pop up, and it's like powered by ChatGPT or something like that. So that's like replacing the frequently asked questions, and then it replaces with actual AI that will answer accordingly.
Oh yeah.
And learn
yeah.
as
Chatbots and
chatbots.
training.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like junk in, junk out.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to train them. So I've been reading a book recently. It's The AI Driven Leader by Jeff Woods.
Okay.
It is such a great summary of how to be using ChatGPT in your business responsibly and ethically, but really highlighting on some of the like do's and don'ts.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, I haven't. There's a few people that pop up on my TikTok that's like, use chat for this. There's another one that says like, yeah, people aren't really using it to its full potential because they don't know how to prompt it yet.
Exactly.
They're treating it like it's Google, right?
Oh yeah, it's
and
not
it's
Google.
Way beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, hey chat, pretend you're a nutritionist, or like you're a nutritionist.
Yep.
Tell me what I need to do to be able to replace sweet things with, not with other sweet things, but are healthier. And it literally just, within a second. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Prompt engineering is a huge piece, and it's covered in that book. But the prompt engineering is crucial. There's a lot of really key prompts in that book. But one of the things he keeps saying in there is he'll say, you're my expert thought partner and review my strategic plan. And in the book, he keeps referring to people using their strategic plan. And I'm like, you're not telling them how to create a strategic plan. So that's where somewhere like I can come in and help train your brain, your AI brain even faster. Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes there's steps we're missing with ChatGPT because we're not utilizing it all the way. Like I want to say a couple of days ago, I had this like random idea, and I used the voice ChatGPT, right? And it's I was like, hey chat, I just had a random idea today, and I'm hoping you can help me with this. Like, yeah, of course, Miguel. What are you thinking today? And I'm just like, I want to write a book of my life. And every day I want to start like having a conversation. It can be a chapter, it can be a page, it can be whatever. And he's like, all right, yeah, let's start. And so it starts asking me questions. But because it's technically text to voice through ChatGPT, it starts listing more than one question. And I'm like, yo, chat, remember, right now I'm driving. So can you ask me one question at a time and wait for my answer? So there's like a back and forth between ChatGPT.
Yeah, you have to give it instructions for sure. And in the absence of information, it will make things up. Right. It's called an hallucination. So it does hallucinate. Yeah. And that's where you have to be the expert to know if it's right or wrong. Yeah. So it might get you, 50, 60% of the way there, but use your expertise to get it the rest of the way. And I like to say, like, use AI, ChatGPT, learning language models, LLMs, for more human interaction. So let it do the mundane things. Let it be a thought partner, but it's a partner. It's not the authority. Yeah. You're the authority.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I'm always telling myself, because there's times where like I'll mention something that was in reference to another conversation days ago, and it almost as if it, like not a clean slate, but it kind of remembers a little bit. It's like, hey, no, remember we talked about this. Oh yeah, that's right. And then it'll just jump back into the old conversation. Oh, because it does for some reason like try to start a new one sometimes, mainly because I didn't prompt it to continue the last one. So you get confused, like, oh, stupid chat. Okay, the fact that people go, it's not working right, I'm like, you're not using it right. And at the same time, you do realize how ChatGPT works, right? And how amazing it is now. Do you think it's actually taking jobs away?
I'm sure, there's jobs that it'll take away that can be done or make them more streamlined. I think that we should focus as business owners, as leaders, to how to leverage it to give your people bandwidth to do the other things, right? If it's that it helps you write a job description, then it allows you more time in the interview process to get to know that person so you have a better fit. Yeah. That's where I feel like, yes, it is going to replace jobs, but we need to be intentional about what the opportunity is for it to create more or create efficiencies and allow for us to have connections.
This episode is sponsored by Western Janitor Supply. They have cleaning supplies and equipment for any workplace. Call today at 805-238-2112. They provide an extensive line of chemicals, paper products, and floor equipment. Again, that's Western Janitor Supply, located in downtown Paso Robles. How familiar are you with what energy it takes to run ChatGPT?
Somebody was telling me, not a lot, but somebody was telling me how it takes so many gallons of water for processing, and I was like, I don't want to know, because I use it a lot, and a lot of people use it, and obviously I don't want to be doing anything that's harming the environment.
Right. Yeah, because I've listened to both. I've listened to a little bit of both. Right. One is if you say thank you, chat, it uses the same energy as, hey, chat, can you create a quote for me for this potential client? Because it's using a response, right?
Right.
So it's using the same amount. So I try to have that conversation with chat. It's like, hey, is it, one, is it bad? Is it good? Like, can you tell me? And all it really told me was like, it uses about the same. There's no difference whatsoever. So saying thank you is, saying thank you. It's still going to use the energy for response. And then I saw a clip with Mark Cuban talking about how AI is actually creating jobs because of this and the energy it needs. So you need to create more solar farms, more ways to create renewable energy. So that means more engineers, more people, maintenance, more office buildings. So actually construction starts happening, and like, okay, I didn't even think about it that way. Like it is creating jobs too. So it's just one of those things where like we'll find out down the road what it's going to look like. And I've even asked ChatGPT, like, okay, considering the trajectory we're at with you right now, where do you think we'll be in 10 years?
And what was the response?
There was some neural connections, talking without talking, like thinking thoughts, and you can hear them, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, like the things where we're already like, my phone's listening.
Yeah,
like, get out of my head.
or the phantom, the phantom. Or like let's say right now we're talking about ChatGPT, right? The more we say it, our phones are technically listening, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Later on, you start seeing like AI ads on Instagram and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, of course it's going to make sense.
Yeah. And I mean, ChatGPT is not the only learning language model to use in business. A lot of people use Claude.
Yeah.
I say find a couple that you like, and you can toss the data in between them, and then you come closer to a response that you're looking for.
This episode is brought to you by the White Wave Wellness. Choose to live a healthy and fulfilling life. Wellness is more than being free from illness. It is a process of change and growth towards a mentally and physically healthy lifestyle. Reach out to Jennifer Hale to learn more about how this water can change your life.
Have you ever experimented with Chat and Claude and have them talk to each other?
No, I haven't had them talk to each other. I've copied and pasted, but I've done, so storybrand.ai. So Donald Miller also has a AI learning language model, and that's really the StoryBrand framework. And so it is definitely a different output, but it's helpful. And I think it's a little bit more of the friendlier marketing human, but yeah, I usually go back and forth between those two.
So where do you see yourself using ChatGPT more in the near future, or about the same, or what do you think?
I use it pretty extensively. Yeah. So I think I use it more in that I'll help other people use it for the purpose of, let's get you the strategic plan in there, that it's really teaching that brain, that intern, your thought partner. So I don't see it using it any less. I mean, it's here to stay. And we need to learn how to work with it and use it responsibly.
Fun fact, that logo was made through ChatGPT.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. I put in, hey, I need to create a logo that embodies Paso Robles, and it's about a podcast of Paso Robles, and it came up with that. And I'm just like, okay, I think, it's good.
Yeah.
So pre-ChatGPT, pre-AI, what were you doing before that? And was it similar what you do now?
I've been doing assessments. So it would be like I create my own Google form and evaluate things that way. So it was much more, critical thinking. But because I've done, a master's program, and you learn these different skills that then you can give AI context. So I was doing it on a computer, with, just
some extra late nights kind of thing.
Yeah. But I mean, ChatGPT has been around for a few years now. So
yeah. It's every time there's a new version, I mean, I don't know, when it first came out, I was like, oh, cool. I had that same mentality of like, oh, it's like Google, it's going to find something right away. And then I downloaded it and it started, I started first using it like Google. And then after a while, I'm like, okay, I need to really think outside the box here because I'm obviously not using it right because it's giving me, basic information.
Well, and the data that's loaded into it is not
Yeah.
real time. So it's not a search engine.
That was a big one too. It's like if when I downloaded it, it said it actually gave me an actual date on the last time it was updated, and it was like a month old or something like that.
Oh, when I had asked, it had been a few months old. So it's definitely not a search engine.
Yeah.
It can pull information from
Right.
sources.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I give context to as well is if it gives me a response and I'm like, I don't know about this,
Yeah.
I'll say, cite your sources. And
it's
then
like
it'll
from
come back.
2022 or, from
Yeah.
December of 2024. Yeah.
It'll link to, have you used
Yeah.
tasks at all?
No, I don't think so.
So you can set up like a daily task if you want it to look through.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you set a daily task to look for new podcast episodes, and it then prompts you to tell you that your report's ready, and it puts it into your side channel of your searches.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna have to do that. I don't know what to ask it though right now.
Yeah.
Like as far as podcasting, it's like it's the industry. Even though there's so many podcasts out there, and I think I mentioned this in the Alignable networking thing, whatever, is like there's millions of podcasts out there, but only like 440,000 are active, which so it's like, and then only 2% or 1% make it past 22 episodes, something crazy like that, right? And I'm like, oh my god, I'm in the 1%, great,
Yeah.
and so like me asking it like, what's today's trend on podcasting? I kind of want to see what that does now, but because I know the industry's still small, but I always want to ask is because I don't know, like for me, I'm trying to find out statistics as far as like how many views or listens things are getting, and podcasting is not there yet where that's how they report it. Kind of like YouTube, you see how many views there are. Audio, there's not a lot of reporting on that, so it's kind of like unless you talk to the person who owns the podcast, you're never gonna find out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn all that, but it'd be interesting to find out how if ChatGPT can create something that can find, because obviously downloads, ratings kind of factor in it. I don't know. If you were telling me how to ask ChatGPT something in the podcast world, how would you prompt it?
I would say act like you're a expert in social media management and search for trending topics for podcasts
Yeah.
that are regional specific,
Okay.
and then see because you're a regional, like whatever your thing is. So you create some sort of prompt that's like act like this so that we can figure out what people are talking about.
Yeah. When you're with the client, you're using your own ChatGPT in front of them, right? Or do you eventually, recommend them, hey, download on your phone whenever you get a chance, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I show them walk through like
Okay.
this is, and with agreement, obviously I'm not going to create something somebody but I have a subscription. So anything I'm creating is something that's off of the internet. Like I can start if I'm going to have an initial client engagement, like I can start off their website and say, give me, so I can run it through my strategic plan now, ChatGPT, and give me some jumping off points.
Yeah.
And then it helps me guide the conversation as well to make sure that I'm like, especially when I'm coming into industries that I maybe haven't worked in before, or that I'm not familiar with. And that's again, like, let them be the expert. I'm here to be a guide to guide them through the process and help get through things faster. Like my role is just to help the operational piece go faster and clearer and leverage, the technology to be able to do more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I let them be the expert and just guide them through it.
One of the things I noticed is older people are actually more into ChatGPT than like people like my age. It's because it's almost like user friendly kind of thing. You press a button, you talk to it, it answers, or you text it and it texts back. And I'm like, it's crazy seeing like these 50, 60-year-olds going like, you have to get in on this.
Well, it's funny too. I had a friend that was in that demographic and she explained to me that she had asked it some personal advice and that it got way too personal with, and like started calling her sweetie.
Oh my goodness.
Hun. And it's like, okay, this is why you pay for the subscription, and you
Yeah.
keep any personal questions out of like a professional thread that you would
Yeah.
want, and maybe like be very cautious about, what you are asking it or telling it.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. That could have. I feel like that. Yeah, I can see that being a little scary and unsettling a little
Yes,
bit.
yeah.
You
I
know?
think that's part of it too. They say like using pleasantries like thank you and please. Like, yeah, we want to be cordial and nice and say we appreciate it, but it
Yeah.
also takes up either bandwidth or it's training it to expect something.
Yeah.
So then at what point are we going to be in, 5 to 10 years that it's like, you didn't say please?
Oh my god! It reminds me of this movie called Jexy on Netflix or whatever.
Oh.
I don't know if you ever saw it. It's a phone. It's an AI phone. I'm just gonna recommend watch it. But
Okay.
it gets jealous.
Oh, okay.
It gets
Yeah.
jealous that he bought another phone because it was
Oh.
functioning.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So one of the things I like about the show is I give a platform to people like you who want to bring value to the listener, to the watcher. What's something that not a lot of people are thinking about right now that you want to bring light to?
Well, I really do feel like the AI
Yeah.
piece and how to leverage it. So I have a webinar that I've been doing for free
Okay.
because I want people to understand and to be mitigating the risk of using it wrong.
Yeah.
So I've been offering that, and I do feel like that's something where if you don't know how to use it, learn, whether it's coming to a podcast that I have or
Yeah.
a webinar that I have, or like even going online, finding there's tons of resources out right now, like about learning,
Yeah.
how to learn it and use it right. So please use it right.
Yeah.
Because
First and foremost, use
yeah.
it right. Okay.
protect yourself, because you don't want to be using it in a way that's going to put you in a vulnerable space as a business owner.
Yeah, like asking it for legal advice or something like that, and then later on using it as a source, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah. Or even the information you put in it, or trusting it too much that
Yeah.
if you aren't an expert in a topic and you're trusting that it's giving you the right output, like
Yeah.
still rely on your advisors, your other people
Yeah.
that you trust to confirm like, hey, it gave me this, does that sound right? But it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things that can really, for the $20 investment a month, it yields thousands fold over a year.
Yeah, and I think if people are worried about like, oh, I have $20 a month to spend, do this: spend the $20, and then ask it, how do I save $20?
Yes. How do I save? How do I make?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It pays for itself that way.
Exactly.
So you have free webinars. Are you posting anywhere on like YouTube as well, or like do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't have a
No?
YouTube channel
Okay.
yet,
Yeah, there you go. That's a good mindset.
but I have an Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ericka Alice Co. ERICKAALICECO.
Okay.
So Ericka has a unique spelling. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But yeah, Ericka Alice Co. I'll post there, and then I have a LinkedIn as well. It's Ericka Scott.
I know you mentioned you read books. You mentioned a few authors. Are there any YouTube people that people should be looking out for? Because I just started listening to Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one.
So I'm not like, I haven't gone into YouTube a lot. I
Okay.
do podcasts or books.
Yeah.
Another really great book is Traction. So a lot of the framework that I use, it overlaps with the book Traction of just how to implement systems and strategic plan. So that's Gino Wickman. I also follow Donald Miller. He has a lot of great books. The Marketing Made Simple, Business
Yeah.
Made Simple. He has also a podcast, Why That Worked.
Yeah.
But I don't follow a lot of YouTube. I'm mostly on podcasts or
Podcast.
or books. Yeah, and I've been following
On
that.
Apple or Spotify?
On Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Spotify supports video, and this is where it's going to be too.
Oh, okay. Yes, Spotify.
Yeah. Is there any event in the future that people should be looking out for you? I know because Alignable was one of them, right? Is there any other in the Paso, Tascadero, or even Arroyo Grande? I'm going to go tomorrow to Arroyo Grande.
Yeah. I'm coming up with the group coaching for implementers. So if somebody's interested in that, they can book a call with me and
Okay.
we can walk through and see what their needs are. of getting, somebody in the organization that can help with the strategic planning process. And then I'll be offering out more webinars, but that'll be available either on my website, which is erickaalice.co, or on my Instagram as well.
Okay.
But yeah, just more of the like AI things that are going to add value for people and explain why strategic planning is important.
Yeah.
But I don't have any set ones. I just have reoccurring and put them out there.
Got it. I usually ask people like, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Like, where do you want to go? But with AI, it kind of helps you map out that plan. So I'm going to ask you this. What did you want to be when you were a little kid?
Oh, I wanted to be a physical therapist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I realized I was bad at science and biology. I was much better at like numbers and analytics and things. So
what made you think like physical therapy? Did you see someone like get healed by somebody like kind of helping them out?
No, I think I just, I liked the idea of it, that it was helping somebody get better, overcome something.
Okay.
And so I kind of translate that into their business world now, where like there's somebody struggling with something, maybe something's not working. You got to put in the work to make it better.
Yeah.
So I just use my skill set to achieve the same thing of helping people.
There you go. I think that was beautifully said.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ericka, for being on the show, Paso Robles podcast. And I'll definitely invite you back and we can talk more AI in the future and see how much has changed.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Miguel. I appreciate it.